This is the dashboard page of your Padlet account. When you log into Padlet.com, this is your landing page. Any of your boards that you've most recently viewed will show right here, and so you can just skip straight to one of your boards. The plus sign right here is where you create a new Padlet wall. When you create a new Padlet wall, there's a toolbar over here with important icons. We're going to go over this modify your wall, so your little settings gear. The first one up here, basic info, is where you give your board a title. And when you give your board a title, you can also choose a small image to go to the left of your board. You can upload your own image. Here's a little birthday hat if you want to celebrate birthdays in your class and have students add a little note for the birthday student. Right here, the wallpaper, there are lots of different wallpapers that you can choose from. You can also add your own. If you're doing projects, My Tasks is a good one to keep track of to do, in progress, and done. The layout, there are 3 different types of layout: freeform, stream, and grid. Freeform is a great one if you're on your computer doing one with just a few students. When you start to get into a class, especially on mobile devices like the iPad, it is best to just keep it nice and simple and do a grid. When it's in the grid form and your students post, no matter where they double click, if I click over here and hit post, it's still going to put it in a nice table format. So that's a lot friendlier on an iPad. Privacy, there are several choices. You can keep your wall completely private and just collaborate with 1 or 2 others by sending them an email, inviting them to your board. You can also password protect your board. The hidden link is probably used most often and for teachers. That's where you can create a QR code or provide a link to your students. When you, it's not searchable. Others cannot find your link. They have to have the link. There are 3 different types of edits. You can do can view, can write, or can moderate. So when you have a hidden link, someone has to have your link to be able to view your board. Can view means they can only see it. So if you spend time creating content as in a timeline or something, and you want your students to have access to this content, but you don't want them to change it or add to it, you would select can view. Can write is probably the best one for you to use with your students if you want them to add to your wall. With can write, they can add to the wall, add a link, but they cannot change. Can moderate, the difference between can write and can moderate is that when you choose can moderate, students could go in and edit someone else's post. Totally public means that it's searchable and anyone can access your wall. Send notifications, that's if you want to receive notifications when students add to your wall. This address is an important one. When you, by default, your Padlet wall will be named padlet.com/username/ a mixture of numbers and letters, and that is awfully hard to give to your students. So if you'd like to create your own specific URL, it'll be padlet.com/your username/ whatever you want to have come after that. So if I want to do sample board, notice right here, sample is available. When I type in board, sample board, it's also available. If you type something in that's unavailable, it'll be a red X and you'll have to choose something else. So I'm going to pick that, and you'll notice that up here in my URL, I have padlet.com/my username/sample. Copy is if you want to copy your board with or without the posts. So for example, if you create a board for your students and you want to do the same board in another class, you can copy this board and not have to redo it. Then of course the delete is down here. To access your home page, you just click up here on the origami icon. You can create a new wall from here as well, or this icon, your profile, shows you all of your boards, so you can easily switch between 2 boards without having to go back to the home page. The last thing I want to show you is the share or export icon. There's several different options. For example, the share on Facebook or Twitter. So if you're starting to use your classroom Twitter account, that would be a good idea. This PDF is a nice way to export your data, especially if you're doing something like having students answer a question on a study guide or an exit slip before they walk out the door. It makes it a little bit more teacher friendly for you to grade it. It puts all the information from the Padlet board in a nice PDF form, one right on top of the other, and if the students are signed in, it will tell them, it'll give you their username. If they're not, it'll say their name that they added to their post. If you have an LMS, you could, if this were a study guide, say every student added a post for their study guide, you could print this out or save it and upload it to your learning management system. Padlet also gives some embed code, so you can embed it in your blog, and there's also a plugin for WordPress, so you could use this plugin on your WordPress blog if you have one of those.